Yes, everyone, what's going on? My name is Stephen Howson, and this is 5 things that we learn drawing with Everton at home. Number 1, Mason Greenwood is an absolute gunman. Mason has actually started this season in terrific form and is clearly a very large part of the first team setup. So much so that when the opportunity was there for him to play for the still eligible FA Youth Cup last week, Solskjaer was like, that is absolutely not happening. He's certainly in my plans for the weekend against Everton. Not just is he scoring, he is now the club's second leading goalscorer in all competitions, which is a phenomenal feat for the 18-year-old, showing that he's getting trusted to come on and try and win back games, try and win back goals, try and actually win back Manchester United points. Lots of people speculating that he could be played because of the way he's withdrawn, because his passing is actually so good, and because his link-up play is very, very good. Could he play just off the striker, played it in a 2, because I think most of us would agree physically he's not quite ready to lead the line on his own week in, week out in the Premier League, although I think we're going to see quite a lot of him in some of the cup competitions and possibly late on in games. Could we be about to see Mason Greenwood and a 4-4-2, which, let's be honest, is going to be a 4-2-4 for Manchester United in games to come? I'd be very excited about seeing that, to be honest, because if you look at his record at youth level, which obviously doesn't fully translate, but there is some translation to what he's going to do once he's in the first team. Not only was he scoring more than a goal a game coming through the academy, but he also had slightly more than assist every other game. Mason Greenwood isn't just a goal scorer. He's a threat with the ball at his feet, plays other people in, and he is an absolutely terrific goal scorer. What he's doing in the first team at the moment it's almost flawless. I think he's earning and deserving the opportunity to try and lead the line for Manchester United in more and more increasingly important games. Keep it going. Number 2, we cannot play through the lines. Now, this isn't news to anybody. The formation, I think, is probably the best suited to the personnel that we've got available. Fred and McTominay, this last week or so, we've seen what we lacked without McTominay. Fred looks like he's really started to settle in the last few weeks, even though there's still the odd occasional weird, random mistake, and his shooting leaves a lot to be desired. But Manchester United looked like we were starting to get a little bit solid. But the issue that we've had all season is that we've been unable to play through the lines. We don't have a baller. We don't have a Paul Pogba, a playmaker, a conductor, a dictator, someone that's going to have that metronomic passing and own it coming into the final third of the pitch. What Everton did against Manchester United was, I thought, quite impressive, to be honest. When you look at the different ways that you can stop United, you've got the one which works for most of the smaller teams, which is the low block, the park in the bus, if you like. Sit back, deny the space, in and around the number 10 and around the strikers. Lots of teams do that against us. Lots of teams have found success against us doing that. What Everton did was different, and they've obviously watched us play very well. Manchester United use our fullbacks a lot in the build-up play. We use them to start going towards the fullbacks because we can't play through the middle. Everton blocked off the middle. They had a very narrow 4-4-2, and there was like a line of pairs of 2, making a big channel of 6 down the centre of the pitch. What the wide players would then do is, as soon as our fullbacks got the ball, they pressed them hard, which meant that the fullbacks couldn't really pass it down the lanes into the final third, which is where we actually start our build-up play from. They hit us with a high press that stopped us playing our game. It forced Fred and McTominay back, and if we have a look at the player influence map, you'll see that all of our ball players are the midfield and the defence, and all the 4 forwards just didn't get any sort of look in on the ball. Despite us having 2/3 possession in the game, we didn't get the ball to the feet of any of our forwards. That's why after the game you see people going, Marshall was crap, Rashford was crap, James was crap. They just didn't have the ball. United have completed just 22 through balls this season, which is fewer than any other team in the top 6. It's crying out for a ball player. I actually think if Paul Pogba played instead of Jesse Lingard yesterday, United probably go on and comfortably win that game. It's not about tactics. That's not to say tactics are completely irrelevant against a team that is probably not going to have any of the ball. It is. But it's not as important against one of the top teams. One of the top teams, you definitely need to have your tactics on point to be able to beat them. And the tactical nature of those games comes into play a lot more. Against the smaller teams, you're looking for that individual bit of brilliance. That player that's going to take hold of a game by the scruff of the neck. Those flat track bullies that we often hear about. United don't have anyone that can do that at the moment. United don't have anyone that's got the quality to be able to play a ball into the final third, into the feet of someone. We saw 2 balls yesterday. I think one was from Fred, one was from Scott McTominay. In for James and in for Marcus Rashford. Nobody can do that. Nobody can do that either in the air or on the floor. If we've got Paul Pogba, he can do that. And it's not just Paul Pogba. There's countless other midfielders that have just got that level of quality. Something I would love Ericsson for, something I would love so many other midfielders for, something James Maddison, if we was able to get him probably in the summer, because I don't think that's going to happen in January, would definitely bring to this team. We struggle playing through the lines. We need more quality there. David De Gea needs to be stronger. One of the criticisms that's fair to level at David De Gea is his distribution. I think all of us would agree on that. His distribution used to be good. Then it went bad. It's probably around about the middle now. It's not great and it's not terrible. It's just around a bit average. But something that's never been evident and was really bad when he first came to the club, he did get a bit of a grip of it, but it's poor at the moment and it's costing us points, is Dave's ability to come and claim a ball. He put us under pressure last week against Manchester City where he didn't come and claim it and Otamendi managed to get the header on. And then this week he didn't come and claim a ball which was easily catchable and he's trying to punch it. I remember when keepers used to come out and flatter people. I remember Peter Schmeichel. That's the archetype of a goalkeeper in my mind. But even though Dave's certainly not in the same sort of mentality, physicality as Peter Schmeichel, he is in the same sort of mould of a goalkeeper as Edwin van der Sar. And Edwin van der Sar would clean out defenders to get his hands on the ball as the goalkeeper. You've got a little bit of a privilege as a goalkeeper that you can come out and absolutely clatter people and you generally get away with it. There's a bit of a like, he's a goalkeeper, he had his hands going for it sort of vibe with referees and probably with VAR or who knows what's going on with that. You get away with it as a goalkeeper by claiming a ball. De Gea doesn't come and claim a ball. De Gea's only claimed 8 crosses in 17 Premier League games, which is the fewest of any goalkeepers. The only table you want your goalkeeper to be the fewest of is goals conceded. He's also got the second fewest punches that he's connected with in the Premier League as well. David De Gea is not owning his penalty box. He needs to be a bit more vocal, but if he's not and the players are all right with that, I'm all right with that. But there's things that a goalkeeper needs to be doing and the things that you want to be seeing from a goalkeeper who, let's be honest, is in his prime right now, that David De Gea needs to be doing, and he's got to be stronger and he's got to be braver. Number 4, with all that being said, VAR fucking sucks. Now, United have been at the receiving end of some positive VAR this season, and we've also been on the end of some probably not so great VAR. And I'd say this weekend against Everton, I don't like doing this really, because it sounds like sour grapes. But let's have a look at this here. Aston Villa versus Brighton earlier this season, the exact same foul on Matty Ryan by Wesley, disallowed by VAR. You guys watch this and tell me that I'm wrong. Write in the comments, Steve, that's totally different. Can you do that? Because for my eyes, that is exactly the fucking same. So why is VAR looking at this one and disallowing a goal and not disallowing the one at United this weekend? Where is the fucking consistency? They're supposed to be these motherfuckers sitting in a room making decisions without the pressure of a crowd on them. Calm, collected, controlled decisions where they're able to review a decision and get the fucking right decision. So, if it was right for Aston Villa and Brighton, why is it not right for Manchester United? It fucking sucks. It slows the game down. It stops us celebrating. Can you imagine in 1999? Ollie sticks it in and they're like, well, the ball's in the back of the net, lads. Let's go to VAR to see if it stands. What a load of bollocks! Can left footers actually play left back? Oh, yes. So, much debate has rumbled on. John O'Kane, he's a weird guy on Twitter. Definitely check him out. Going on that you can't be a top-class left back if you're not left-footed. Like, I know, I'm just going to pull 2 names out of my arse here. Dennis Irwin. He was a right-footed left-back. Paolo Maldini, perhaps you've heard of him. He was a pretty decent left-back back in the day. Brandon Williams is the subject of this topic here, and Luke Shaw, obviously, the opposite subject of this topic, what we're talking about. Brandon Williams can't be a top-class left-back because he's a right-footed left-back. I'll give 2 examples why that's utter bollocks. And then a reply comes like, yes, but they were world-class. Well, you either can be a left-footed right-back and potentially be a world-class one, or you simply can't do it. The same was said about wingers 10, 15 years ago when people really started to invert their wingers. You can't have a left winger, that's right-footed. Are you insane? Well, no, because the game constantly evolves and constantly changes, and there's no right thing to anything. Chris Wilder with his overlapping centre-halves. 5 years ago, 2 years ago, if you tell someone, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have my centre-backs overloading, and people have gone, it's a bit early for drinking that this time in the morning, I think, mate. Are you off your head? The game's constantly evolving. Left backs that are right-footed has been a staple of the game. It's not always about going to the byline and whipping a cross in. There are many other ways to build up play. And actually, if we looked at Luke Shaw's performance yesterday, arguably the biggest clanger of the game was dropped by him essentially playing in Tom Davies with his right foot, instead of clearing it into Rose Ed like a right-footed left-back would have done. For me, Luke Shaw's performances have been okay defensively. I've seen some people questioning Brandon Williams' stamina, but not Luke Shaw's. That's a strange one. Luke Shaw doesn't get anywhere near into the box as often as he should do. And I was saying this during the game yesterday as he went into the box, had the shot which ricocheted out before James attempted to murder Jesse Lingard. Luke Shaw was in the box nowhere near enough. Brandon Williams is getting up and down the pitch. Yes, he's rash. Yes, I love that about him. But he gets into the opposition box. He gets into the opposition box and he forces 1-2s with his right foot. He's not doing the same sort of thing as Luke Shaw. He's doing it differently. And maybe because everybody's doing the same thing Luke Shaw is, it's time to go and do something differently. Left footers can obviously play left back, but so can right footers. And ruling somebody out just because they're a right-footed left back is nonsense. Think about when a player, think how many inverted wingers there are nowadays. Let's say Mo Salah comes along inside onto his left foot. What's the foot that Brandon Williams is going to stop him with? His strong foot, his right foot. He's coming into where Brandon Williams is actually stronger and not going down his stronger side. There's so many reasons to match up a right-footed left back against a left-footed right winger. So many options. Makes no sense. Side note, we didn't really learn this today because we already knew it, but can I just talk about how good Wan-Bissaka's tackling was? It's inhuman. Have you ever even seen timing like it? It makes no sense whatsoever. 7 tackles out of 7 yesterday, and he goes to ground for all of them. If any other player, if Phil Jones even watches him train, no. Any other player that goes to ground that often, that frequently, and that aggressively is giving away 4 penalties a game. Wan-Bissaka, tackle every time. Outstanding. There you go, that's 5 things that we learned this weekend watching United against Everton. Some Sancho news dropped in the Patreon group which caused all sorts of havoc. If you're into that sort of thing and you would like a community of absolute lunatics, Patreon is the group for you. Hit the link in the description. I'll see you in the next one. Laters.